In today's video, we're adding all the plywood into the roof rack as well as some of the PVC pipe. Let's get into it. So you'll notice all this plywood's actually already cut, and we'll go ahead and just time travel back to last weekend when I started cutting this. Oh, it's so close. So the width, I was really scared about it because the saw, I wasn't sure which side it was taking off of for the cut, and I didn't want to cut it too thin, so I cut it a little bit too thick intentionally. So now the only thing I need to do is take maybe an eighth of an inch off. Take out an eighth of an inch off, and then we're good to go. It's 95% there. It's amazing how much of a difference it makes having this filled up. Like it's cool to see this thing coming together slowly like this. I mean, sure, I'd prefer if it just happened in a week, but pretty cool. So here you can see the width I was talking about. That's the line I drew, and when I started cutting, it was cutting behind the line, so I decided to move it outside the line just to be safe. So now all I need to do is cut it a little bit back, and we're all set. I need to figure out what I'm gonna have to do to close this up in the corner, because you're not supposed to be able to see out of it. Almost wonder if it might be a better idea to cut these little short and to have the next one come out to here. It might not be a bad shout, honestly. And for those of you who are curious about how I'm gonna get rid of this ugly side of the plywood and these like open holes, I'm gonna use wood filler, I'm gonna sand, and I'm gonna do that all under the primer before I prime. And then I'm also gonna caulk. So this is gonna be super tight. And I'm also gonna try to find some places to put drain holes, maybe just the corners, something where the water can actually drain out instead of pooling up, because I really don't want that happening. This is already not a super good idea for a box. It's already kind of like a temporary kind of thing and not as good as metal, but I want to try to do it as good as possible. Okay, improvement. All right, there's still some work to be done on some of the edges. You can see you got a good gap over here, but it's smooth down here. So I think if I just take some out of the middle, that'll fix it. As for the front, I might need to pull it back a little bit, need to sand it a little bit more on the edge just to get the side shorter. Back is looking pretty good, almost perfect. A little bit of gap, but then again, it's also not tight against the wall. And then this one, same thing as the front, kind of got to take some out of the middle. But that can all be done with a hand sander. And I guess we'll just have to do that next week. And here we are back in the present day. So all the plywood's cut and ready to mount. I've just got a little bit of sanding to do. This is what I'm gonna be using to attach them to each other. And basically, it's gonna be a box floating in the rack. And then I have some sheet metal to wood screws, kind of like what you'd use on a trailer deck, that are gonna go through it to the floor. I think that's gonna be all I use to actually mount the wood rack to the box. I might use some maybe I might use some here and here, but all we're really gonna do is just attach two there and two there, just to keep it from sliding out or flying out or anything. But it's gonna be heavy enough, it probably won't be that much of an issue. So let's go ahead and get these sanded down smooth. You can see they're not perfectly level. We'll go ahead and get these sanded down all equally and then go ahead and mount them up again. So I'm working on getting these in the important areas. Since I have 8 of them, I'm doing one like this on every corner, and then the low spots like the corners where the floor is sagging because it's not being supported, I'm bringing them up with these. And I got one over there, one over there. I'm gonna do one over there and one over there because I think the back left corner is fine. But so looks like my screws I got are a little too big, so I'm either gonna cut these or try to find some other short ones. I don't know if I'll be able to though, so I'll just have to make do. I mean, really, if I cut those, it's not really gonna hurt anything. All right, now that we've got enough bolts that it'll actually hold its shape, we'll go ahead and disassemble it, get it back out, and we're gonna reassemble it on the ground somewhere, and then we can worry about caulking, priming, finishing the sanding, and then reinstall it. Fun. Don't tell me I did that all off camera. I did. So at this point, I'm gonna do some sanding on the edges, look for some shorter screws. There's some pieces on this that I really could make while it's down here, but I'll probably be taking this out once or twice anyways in the future. I'm gonna take a piece right here because this is supposed to be enclosed, but I'm not gonna enclose it all the way on the front. I'm only gonna cover it on the top. So it'll be a little covered little area back here. Probably won't do anything with it, but whatever. Time to paint. All right, it's the end of day one. The sun's going down. I've got both sides of everything primered with quite a lot of coats, between 2 and 5 on everything. I've got most of the edges done, but for these, since I don't want to move them around too much and the sun's not drying them super fast at this time of day, I'm just going to flip them all on their side in the morning and set them in one of these tracks and just paint them all together on the sides like that. I was doing a little bit of painting on fixing some of the bad paint that was on here from the guys that made the rack, letting that dry. In the morning, we're going to throw the base one in and drill some of those bolts in there and there and there and there and get that in permanent-ish, permanent. Because, I mean, this stuff's going to come out once or twice in the next couple of years, but it's like permanent for now. Permanent for the rest of the year, I'll say that. Put it in. And then I've got enough time, once all the wood is in, I'm not going to caulk the edges because you're going to see gaps along here. I'm not going to caulk those yet because I know it's going to come out again in the next couple months. What I am going to do is I'm going to throw that extra PVC pipe right there, make the brackets for it, and then I would love to make the sniffer. And if I can make the sniffer, depending on how much ambition I have, I'd also kind of like to make the ray dome over there on the side. We'll see how that goes. But time travel to day 2. Okay, day 2. Got the primer done. You can see this one I was using. It's like black because I was using it for the overspray. I just tried to protect the roof while I was spraying some of these little rough areas. There was an area back in there, if you look at some old videos, you might see it, that was completely unpainted. I'm just like, and it was annoying because they told me, yeah, we're going to use some high quality, real good paint. They did not. It was just Rust-Oleum. So anyways, enough about that. Back to this. I'm going to have to take the roof rack apart at some point and really redo it, like sand it down, get it smooth, put some real good paint on it, get it real nice. But I'm not doing that right now because we're at stage 1 of the build. We're just trying to get it put together. I don't mind taking this roof rack apart again. I'm sure I'm going to. We'll go ahead and throw some paint on this and then slap those parts up in here. And I'm using Glidden Premium for anyone curious. It's an interior and exterior that is already flat white, ready to go. So I didn't need to tint it or anything. That's gonna cover the whole thing. Alright, now I've got both sides of these primed and painted. I'm gonna let them dry. I've done 2 coats now. I'm gonna let them dry and probably do another 3rd and 4th. I'm gonna just use all of that can. I've still got like another 1/4 of that left. That's actually the exact size you need to do all of this. You can do all this and then some, but I'm just going to use all that paint, make sure I get it as much on it as possible, and then go ahead and move on. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to go ahead and get this ready for going up there. So in order to get this up there, the process is I need to cut this down to 53 inches. I need to get this sanded, which I've already done. You just saw that happening. Got it coarse. Just use some wall sandpaper. You can use any sandpaper, but the smaller grit, the better. This is a 120 grit for wall sanding. So knocked it down really good. You can see it doesn't have a shine on it anymore. I'll throw some primer on that, a real thin coat, and then I'll show you the paint I got. So here's the spray paint I got. I got a Krylon Satin Pistachio. This is really close to what a lot of the other ecto builders are using. The thing is, you can use whatever you want. Some people use yellow, some people use like a minty chartreuse green like this. It's really up to you. A lot of the ecto builders choose to go with the green because that's, I forget if it's either green or yellow because it escapes me. I think the cameras from the 80s made the yellow paint look green or the green paint look yellow. I don't recall, but either way, people are kind of up. It's up to you, whichever one you want to use. Doesn't really matter. I just went to Michael's and found the Satin Pistachio. Whatever you can find that you want to use, go for it. we were still able to maintain a lot of the wood grain, but not too much of it. I used the wood filler to clear up all the knots and all the deep cracks. So we still have a lot of the authentic texture. You can see, zoom in, you can see some of the good texture, but without any of the actual cracks or anything. So this should actually hold up really nicely. Obviously we do still have some sagging. I'm gonna come back and buy more clips and suck them up just that little bit before I do any caulking. And if I do any caulking, it'll be on the outside and inside. Looks pretty cool. So we've still got a little bit of work left to do, so let's get drilling. And so now we're going to start using these metal to wood screws to attach the deck to the metal. Oh, gotta get the bit first. Where's the bit? Wait, does this not come with a bit? Aw, normally they come with one. I do one right about there, maybe? Very cool. And one over here. So since it's entirely too hot to work on this right now, just because of the sun and I don't want to move the car, I'm going to use that as an excuse to start making the brackets for this pipe. This pipe came out looking really nice. It's about 95% perfect, just like the rest of this car, so I'm fine with it. I'll go ahead and cut those 3 brackets to 1.25 inches thick, and I don't know how long they're going to be, so I'm going to make them too long, and then bend them all to shape, and then cut them accordingly. All right, here's what it looks like. I just kind of tested it out. Goes kind of like this. Works pretty nice. So I don't even need as much. I need to cut it maybe there, something around there. But looking pretty good. Go ahead and get those 3 made. That was a good test though. trying to grab them. I don't know why. I'm so stupid. I touch hot burning metal all the time. How do I have hands? I don't understand. All right, here's all three fully made. They actually turned out really nice. All I'm gonna have to do is do a drill on the back and just straight. I guess I'll just do a straight deck screw like I'm using for the deck. I'll just use that on these too. And it'll kind of push back on this, but it'll also make this tighter, so I'm not mad. I'll go ahead and sand this down, get it scuffed, throw some paint and primer on it, get them just jet black, and then throw them on. Sweet. So I'm gonna have to adjust this middle one a little bit because it's kind of off to the, kind of angled a little bit. Oh, that's easy. That's easy enough. So the way I built them, they're actually really easily adjustable. I haven't done the caps on them yet, but it's not gonna be that hard. I've got one of the two done, but since I'm running out of sunlight, I wanted to get it all put on. Man, that actually is really cool looking. Very close to accurate, dare I say. I'll just have to take it off again and touch up the paint, but I've still got another can of that, so I'm good there. Right now it just kind of looks scuffed like it's been used, so that's fine. Well, now that we've got the rack a little bit more built, I guess this is as good excuse as any to go start the car up and drive it a little bit. Maybe get some good shots. Let's see if she decides to be nice this week. Probably isn't gonna start up nice because it never does after a while. Okay, that seemed to fix it. It was just low on gas. I might run out again, so I brought the can with me just in case. It just doesn't want to shift. Well guys, we were able to get a lot done this weekend. We got all of the wood installed in the rack, got it looking nice, got it sturdy so it's not going anywhere. It's probably not the perfect way to do it. I would have liked to have caulked around, but since this stuff's probably going to come out again, I just decided to not caulk, just save everyone a lot of heartache and save me a lot of money. We also did get 90% done on finishing up the PVC on the side. We built the custom straps for it. Got it looking really nice. There's just a little bit left to do, but you know, I always end up filming these 90% done and then just doing the next 5 or 10% off camera, or just forgetting to do it. But I also did a little bit off camera. Took a little bit of film for a TikTok. Got that final headlight in, so now we have all 4 headlights for the first time in a couple months. So first time as a 59 with all 4 headlights. Honestly, the car is just looking so nice. I couldn't be happier, except for if it was painted. So let me know how much you guys want to do that. Well, guys.